I'm Oral Hershiser, and I am on Blue Review. Hey, this is Sean Green. You're watching the Blue Review.
Bum, bum, ba-da-dum, bum,
Bam,
bum.
bam, ring.
Ring.
And then there's the wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, no lasers this morning on a Thursday. Welcome everybody to the Blue Review presented by LAX. I'm Marcus Grant. That is Greg Bergman. It's the
It's
same
gonna get
sad
worse.
song. Yeah, you think it's gonna get worse?
It's gonna get worse every time they lose. It's gonna be a worse like the brr, 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 wah,
Mm.
wah, wah, wah. I'm gonna figure out ways to make it even bigger and bigger and bigger until they finally figure something out.
Well, here's to hoping that they figure it out because it's like I mean, they're off today, so that means no sound of any kind tomorrow, I guess. And then hopefully by the time we come back on Monday, they will have won that baseball game.
I hope so. I think
Yeah.
I might do lasers tomorrow because they didn't lose.
Okay, that's fair.
I
That's
mean,
fair.
just to have a laser on a Friday.
Just to be a feel good Friday, and F it Friday. Let's do some lasers. Who knows? Anyway, yeah, we'll get into it. Yesterday, the Dodgers lost 7-6 to the Cubs. They were swept in Chicago. They have lost 6 in a row. The sky is falling. If you go on social media, the Dodgers might as well just disband the franchise and never play baseball again because it's really that bad. Um,
It's amazing. It's amazing what is happening on social media. And I mean, I get it. I get the frustration, Marcus. I'm with them. I'm frustrated. You're frustrated. Carlo and John, who are in here, are frustrated. But it doesn't matter. Like, you can't go to the level that people are going to. There's people wanting to fight other people in the comments. There's people being like, "You gotta just trade everybody. Can't take them all." What was Andrew Freeman thinking? Keeping Muncy and Freeman and Mookie and like going through all the guys and go with speed. Like, what do you
I,
mean?
I
They were
mean,
they're the best record in baseball a few days ago.
we were 2 tweets short of a meet me in Temecula is really what that was. That's all that we were missing. But we will get into that and try to bring some sanity to this whole proceeding. But first, want to let you know the Blue Review is powered by LAX. The LAX Skylink train is currently in testing, preparing to provide a direct, fast, and free connection to the new rental car center, the airport terminals, and the LA Metro. For more information, visit lawa.org/ESPN. All right. 7-6 was final score yesterday. No more Lauer power. The streak is over, Greg. The guy who was brought in off the scrap heap to be the Dodgers stopper, to right all the wrongs, to save kittens from trees and puppies from burning buildings. It didn't work yesterday, Greg. It was inevitable. The streak was going to end at some point. Yesterday just seemed to be kind of the day.
Yeah, what happens to He-Man? Like, is he puts it up and he becomes He-Man, but when he's not, that like, is there like
And
a
he's just
drop
Prince
down
Adam.
period? Does something like go? Does he like go
That's a good question. Is
down?
there
I
a
don't remember.
cooldown? Yeah,
Is
I have
there?
no idea.
Yeah. So I think that was what happened with him. The He-Man. I have the Lauer power. It was not something. Man, I was so excited for that to work. Like the whole bit, like really played out well. Carlo did a great job on a video, adding in He-Man. I was like, oh man, this can last for a while. Didn't even last like 2, 3. It was the fourth inning when everything fell apart. I was like, man, there goes the Lauer power. But that's okay. I mean, look, it was absolutely bound to happen. It's most of these pitchers that we're looking at. Emmett Sheehan, now that was bound to happen. Justin Robleski, that was bound to happen. Eric Lauer, that was bound to happen. The ones that are not bound to happen are Tarek Skubal and Yoshinobu Yamamoto, and when he's back, Blake Snell, and when he's back, Tyler Glasnow from the Shadow Realm. And if Shohei comes back, those are the guys that it's not bound to happen to, and those are the guys that matter when it comes to the postseason.
Yeah, it's very true. I mean, we're kind of waiting on the cavalry to come back and sort of ride to the rescue for this team. By the way, for Tyler Glass now, apparently the Shadow Realm is Lake Elsinore because I believe that's where
Yeah.
he was starting the other day on a rehab start with the Ontario Tower Buzzers. So, yeah, help is definitely on the way. As for Lauer, yesterday, I said before the show, I'm going to try and accentuate the positives this morning as
Yeah.
much as I possibly can. And with Lauer, the immediate positive that jumped out at me, no walks. I mean,
Oh.
everything else was sort of rough. Well, here's the thing: he gave up 6 runs in 4 innings. He gave up 11 hits. But at least he made them earn it, I guess, is sort of the silver lining to this whole thing, right? I
By
mean,
barreling everything up.
you
Is that the earning
I
by
mean,
by PCA having 2 home runs and a
I, I
double?
mean, I mean, look, when you look at some of the earlier games in this series, right? Especially that first game,
Yeah.
walks killed. Like the home runs hurt. They gave up. I mean, I think they gave up 8 home runs in the 3-game series, and it felt like at least in the first game, all of those home runs came with guys on base. I mean, I know PCA's did too, but at least they weren't free passes. Look, I mean, I'm grasping at straws, right? They've lost 6 in
Yeah.
a row. They're playing really bad baseball right now. I'm trying to just come up with something. And at least yesterday, in fact, the entire staff did not give up a walk between Lauer and the 5 guys out of the bullpen. Not the burger place, just the 5 gentlemen who pitched yesterday out of the bullpen. Nobody gave up a walk, so that's a positive? Question
So,
mark.
right. I mean, are you trying to incite these people on Twitter again to get them going? Start fighting in Temecula? Like, you're trying to get them to go to Temecula. I think that's what you're trying to do. Like, I appreciate the fact that you're trying to accentuate the positives and with the no walks thing, but I respect it, honestly. But no matter what, if you want to go through some positives, and I know you do, and I love that you do, they came back. They came back.
Yeah.
Like they got it. They got it to within one. They hit some home runs. They got on base. They were scoring some runs. It ended up they didn't finish the job, but they had a chance to finish the job. They got to the 9th inning. They had a chance to tie the game, and they did, and they didn't do it. But the fact is, they got there. And over these last 6 games, it seems like whenever they went down, whenever they lost the lead, because they lost the lead again today or yesterday, every time they went down, it was just like hands up. All right, we're done. We're not playing today. And also, I want to know. I didn't go out and find it. You probably can find it better than me. In games that Shohei has a leadoff home run, what is their record? Because they seem to lose every game he hits a leadoff home run over the last couple of months. But I would love to know his record. I kept trying to look it up, and it's just it's
Yeah,
not easy to find when you're only half-assing it.
Exactly. I think that's kind of the thing. You have to whole ass it, and that's how you
Right.
find these sorts of things. Yeah, I mean, I do think the comeback is notable, right? Because it felt like after they slept walked through basically the previous 5 3/4 games, they showed some signs of life. And I don't know if
Yeah.
it's that everybody in the dugout just got mad and was tired of being embarrassed or what it was, but they started to kind of put together at bats late in the ball game. And I mean, you talk about it, they not only did they tie the game, or not almost tie the game, right? They had the tying run on base, right? Shohei
Yep.
hits the home run to make it 7-6, and then Alex Call is hit by a pitch. So you actually do have the tying run on base. They just couldn't figure out a way to get him around. So I am taking that as a positive that this team, look, it is a team of veterans. They've won back-to-back World Series. They definitely have designs on a third, and there's a lot of pride involved in this. And I think after getting kicked around for, nearly 6 games at that point, I think somebody or something snapped in the dugout and said, hey, fellas, we are better than this. And so, we'll see if it carries over. They get the off day today. They're going to travel to Arizona and figure it out for a weekend series. We can talk about this tomorrow too, Greg, but I feel sort of about that ballpark, whatever they call it, the Bob or Credit. I don't even know what they call it anymore.
It's not Chase
Generic
anymore?
Deserts. Maybe, I don't know. If this were the World Cup, it'd be Phoenix Stadium. I have no idea. But I feel kind of about it. Maybe not as strongly as you feel about Coors Field, but weird things happen to them in that ballpark, and I don't like it. And I don't, I don't want that to happen again this weekend.
Oh,
But that's a conversation for another time, maybe. I don't know.
yeah. I mean, I could just shortly because we can do it tomorrow. But yeah, that ballpark it's big, and you can hit it out of the ballpark there. They can hit it into there's triples that can hit there, especially when you have a guy like Corbin Carroll on that team. It is a weird, and also there's always seems to be the guy on that team that just destroys the Dodgers. It was Christian Walker and Paul Goldschmidt. Both those guys are gone. I don't know who it is now. It's probably going to be Ketel Marte because that's just what he does. I don't know, or Corbin Carroll. It's always going to be somebody that you're like, that dude only hits the Dodgers. Well, Goldschmidt hit everybody, but
Goldschmidt hit everybody. So yeah,
AJ Pollock. Yeah.
Oh, jeez. So anyway, but they kind of came around yesterday. I see we have a Cubs fan who's hopped into the chat.
Hey, get out of here.
Congrats on the sweep. You won 3. You're playing well. Good job. It's still August. I don't think anybody here is particularly worried. There's certainly a chance that these two teams will see each other again in October. But hey, I've heard from my Cub fan friends in the last 12 hours or so. Congrats to all of you on your August victories.
Good job. Let's figure it out in October. But there is a conversation, Marcus, about PCA, and I know Dodger fans absolutely despise him at this point, but there's a conversation about PCA and Shohei Ohtani, and they both went off yesterday. They both had 2 home runs. They both had just very good games. PCA probably had the better series overall, but Shohei is right there too. I mean, where are you at with the PCA Shohei conversation?
I think one, with Shohei not pitching, that is a big kind of check mark against him right now. I think if he were still pitching, then I think, with what he's doing, I don't see how he doesn't win it. But the fact that he hasn't pitched in a while, we're not sure if he's going to pitch anytime soon, while Pete Crow Armstrong is having an amazing offensive year. He's very much on track to be a 30-30 guy. And on top of it is arguably the best defensive center fielder in the game. I think all of that makes this thing a really close race. And what I was saying to somebody yesterday is, if this thing is close at the end, and I expect that it will be, I think PCA wins it just because of Ohtani fatigue. I just think the voters out there, after voting him, as the MVP, 3 years in a row, after hearing about him, being a two-way player and all that kind of stuff, I just think it's sort of like, the years Michael Jordan didn't win the MVP because the voters were just like, hey man, let's just give it to somebody else. And I think if this thing is close at the end, then I think that's what's going to happen to Shohei.
But I get what you're saying, and I think you're probably on the right path with that. But it's not a floating trophy. This isn't one that they try to move around from place to place because of what is in the NBA. They like giving it to different people for whatever reason. In the NFL, they like giving it to the different quarterback. It moves around. It doesn't move around in baseball. It goes to the best player. It is a very statistically driven thing, and still at this point, no matter what, even though he's not pitching now, he did pitch. And he did have a great ERA, and he had a great whip, and he looked amazing, and he was doing 2 different things, and he was doing 2 completely different disciplines. Those things happened. We watched it happen. So I know he's taking some time off from pitching, but even if he doesn't come back, those numbers are still there of him doing multiple things. I just don't know if you can take that away because of voter fatigue. That's not how baseball works. And every year there's a guy that's like, oh, it should be this guy. Last year was for Francisco Lindor having this big talk about how he should be the MVP. Why? Because you're in New York? No, there was no reason for it. Shohei was obviously the best player. It's always been Kyle Schwarber because he has a lot of home runs, but it doesn't do multiple things. No matter what, Shohei is leading this team, and they did have the best record in baseball. We'll see where they're at the end of the year, but they're just going through a rough stretch. But they're still doing the things that he's helping lead that team. He's batting right around 300. He might be close to it now after yesterday.
He's at 297 right now.
Yeah, at 297. He's batting 300. Right, the guy is still really, really incredible. The power numbers are down a little bit, but the season's not over. I don't know. I just don't. I don't like the idea of we should give it to PCA because it's not Shohei this year. That just seems silly to me.
Well, I mean, I agree. I think if you believe in your heart that Shohei is the best player, he's the most valuable player, which yeah. Again, I think we should also change it since we're sitting here,
Yeah.
out pontificating on things. Let's change it from most valuable player to most outstanding player because you get into a weird gray area trying to determine value. I think that's just a hard thing to do. But if you just make it like the Final Four and it's the most outstanding player, then you just give it to Shohei because he's the best. But if that's what it is, then I think that's what you do. But I also just know human nature, and right now with the Dodgers being everybody's bad guy. And everything that is wrong with professional sports, that PCA and the try hard feel good cubbies are a nice story, and I just think human nature says they're going to give it to him. So I'm with you. I think it should be Shohei. I know we're obviously biased on a show called The Blue Review,
Right.
but I think that's how it's going to go. Again, provided this is close. Like if Shohei gets really hot in the next 6 weeks and just runs away with this thing, then so be it. But I imagine this is going to be tooth and nail the rest of the way.
Yeah, and I like your point about how like everybody hates the Dodgers right now, and maybe this is Major League Baseball and the voters' way of kind of giving everybody else around the country of like, hey, look, the Dodgers didn't win something. Look at that. Hey, we gave the MVP to somebody else because we were fatigued by it. I don't know. The whole thing just seems silly to me, and they should go by who is the best player. If you're voting and you actually think PCA is the best player in all of baseball in the National League, then sure. But if you can legitimately say he's better than Shohei, who's doing two things, even though he's not pitching it right now, then it's a real conversation to have. It's not about what fatigue and all of that. I don't know. If you want to give him it, because also think about this: 20 years down the line, are we going to be like, oh yeah, PCA, that guy was amazing, or are we going to be like, what is Pete Crow Armstrong? It could go either way. But if it's Shohei, you're going to be like, oh, yeah, wow, look at Shohei. Amazing. He won 4 in a row in 2 different leagues, and he won 3 in his 3 years with the Dodgers. You're going to look at those types of things. I don't know. The narrative of giving it to a guy just because really annoys me.
You know what it's going to end up being potentially? It's going to be the Steve Nash MVP season.
100%. He got 2 of them.
Yeah,
Kobe should have had at least one of those.
It's going to be one of those Steve Nash MVP seasons where you're like, it was a good year. But and like Steve Nash is a very good player, and, but like, he's not a generational player. It's going to be like, oh yeah, remember when Pete Crow Armstrong like snuck in and won an MVP? Like that's what it's going to be.
That's what's going to be. Is that what you want in the history books, baseball? Major League Baseball. I'm appealing to you right now. Do you want somebody in the record books where you're like, oh, that was cute? No, you don't want that. You want the star to get the MVP. Stop it.
I look forward to a slew of baseball writers pausing their Bruce Springsteen albums to give us pretzel logic on Twitter about why they voted for Pete Crow Armstrong over Shohei Ohtani in 2026.
He was just a better player. He was playing great defense, and he had a great offensive year, and he did. It's not taking anything away from what PCA is doing. Shohei is the best player in the National League. Stop it.
Yeah. We should also ask, does Shohei believe in Babe Ruth?
Well, you should lose points just for that. I was listening to a podcast, and the podcast told me they made some really good points that Babe Ruth didn't exist.
What are we doing here?
Really? This is worse than flat earthers, okay? Like, you can tell that the earth is round. It's all over the place. But to say that a guy didn't exist that was alive, like not really all that long ago.
Not really that long ago.
Right.
Yeah.
Like this isn't like a 400-year-old dude. They're like, oh, that's there was no pictures back then. It's ridiculous.
Man.
Okay,
sorry.
sorry.
I can go also. Carl ever didn't believe in dinosaurs. So anyway,
don't do these things to me. Why are you upsetting
Anyway,
me? It's 6:50 in the morning.
Let's go on to something more positive. You yesterday were out at Rams camp, and while that was interesting on its own, and I'm sure the Aaron Donald buzz is buzzing. The Aaron Donald buzz is buzzing louder. He had a tryout, which is funny to me, but that's not the point. The point is, you got to talk to a Dodger legend yesterday at Rams camp.
I did. It was very cool. So I was Clayton Kershaw was at Rams camp yesterday, and while I was on with DeMarco and Travis, we yelled at him, "Hey, if you want to come on the air, just just pop a headset on, that'd be cool." He was like, "No, I got to watch my kids, and I make sure the kids don't run onto the field." That was his excuse. Good excuse. We'll take it. But then in a break, I just like, you know what? I'm gonna go walk up to him. I don't walk up to celebrities. I don't walk up to athletes. I don't do these types of things because that's just not who I am. But I was like, that's Kershaw, man. The Kershaw day. That's the GOAT. Like, I love that guy so much. I got to go up and talk to him. And I walked up to him and I just said, "Hey, man, thank you for everything you did for the Dodgers." Like, it's, "Oh, thank you. And I said, "I love the fact that your last pitch wasn't out." Or I might have said it as like, "Your last out wasn't out." And he goes, "Oh, that's a really good way to put it." And then he said, "Oh, there's a really funny story." Like, just stopped me, kept talking and said, "It's a really funny story about that." So Tommy Edman had the ball there, and he threw it into the crowd afterwards. And I was like, "Oh my God, are you serious? He threw it into the crowd?" He goes, No, it's okay though. A couple months later, the guy got in touch with our GMs or our PR or something and gave the ball back. So I now have the ball. I have my last pitch ball I now have. And he didn't want anything for it. He asked for nothing. He just wanted to be a good person and give it to me. I really feel like there is some good in this world still. And I thought that was a really cool story. Really was really happy that he has that ball too.
Yeah, for sure. No, I mean, that was obviously that is going to be our last memory of Clayton Kershaw in a Dodger uniform was, and look, I was on pins and needles. I think every Dodger fan in the world was on pins and needles because, this is a guy who brought so much to this organization for so many years. And, we saw him battle through all those really hard postseasons. And I think to see him go out there and take the ball in a World Series game, in a crucial situation in a World Series game, I think we all sort of held our breath. And for him to get out of it and for that to be his final moment in Dodger uniform, I think was amazing. And so I'm glad to hear that, one, that he got the ball back, and two, that people just did it because it felt like the right thing to do. Because goodness knows, man, somebody could have hijacked that ball and held it for ransom and asked for the moon. I need Shohei Ohtani to give my kid batting practice lessons or something like that. So no, that's very, very cool that he got to do that.
Yeah, it was cool, but also like, if you're that fan, and I get it, it was in Toronto, so it was a very different type of fan. Maybe it was a Dodger, I don't know. But the fact is, like, what is that ball worth? Is it worth anything to anybody except for Clayton Kershaw? It was a random out in the World Series it was a long game, but it wasn't the game-winning out. It wasn't anything along those lines. It was just Clayton Kershaw's last pitch. And now maybe you can get a little bit of money for it, but I wouldn't think very much. So I love the fact that they didn't even hopefully think about that. They just said, "Hey, let's get this back to the guy that actually needs this ball." And I really appreciate that. Good on you, fan.
Good on you. Well, it's funny too because I think at the time we thought it might be his last appearance, but at that point we didn't know. There was always a chance he could somehow come back and pitch again. So I do think it's not surprising, I guess, in retrospect, that it took a little while to get the ball back, because you sort of had to recognize that, like, one, that was the last time he pitched, and then you actually had to recognize, like, oh wait, I have that ball.
Shoot.
Right. I actually have that ball. I can kind of make it right and get it back to him. So that's very cool. I'm glad you got to talk to him. I'm glad more importantly, that Kershaw got that ball back. And he got to hang out with his pal, Matt, yesterday. So that was fun. Clayton and Matt hanging out. Hey.
It's our two best friends that anyone could have.
Anyone can have. Right? So, yeah. All right. We're a little bit loopy.
It's early.
I'm going to go get some coffee. All right. Stick around. The Sedano and Cap Morning Extravaganza coming up right after us. Thanks to everybody in the chat for hanging out. Thanks to Carlo and John for production assistance. But that'll do it for this edition of the Blue Review presented by LAX. For Greg, I am Marcus. No game today. We'll be back with you tomorrow, 6:30 to 6:55 here on the ESPN LA YouTube channel.
Zip. The Blue Review. The Blue Review.